Good morning. Thanks for joining me. It's Christine Crutcher from Create with Christine. And sorry I'm running a few minutes late for my live viewers this morning. So today I have a super fun but messy technique to share with you. And it's inking and embossing folder. So I have a super simple card that we're going to create today, a little Christmas card. And I'm actually going to show you how to do this technique with the Timber 3D embossing folder, and I'm using a couple different stamp sets and one set of dies, I believe. So, okay, Christmas to Remember is the stamp set where I'm taking the little greeting, 'tis the season, and then Christmas Season is the stamp set where I'm getting the little berries and the little holly leaves. So, and then I'm using the seasonal labels, and I'll show when I point my camera down what I'm doing with those. And then everything will be in a supply list below. So once I finish this live, I'll add my supply list. So if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, you'll have that to reference. Also with the measurements, I'm running a little bit behind today because we had a mega fundraiser yesterday, and I think I left at 10:30 in the morning and got home at like 6 p.m. So it was a long day and I'm a little tired, but so thrilled to share that unofficially we were just around 13,000 yesterday, so we smashed our goal of 10,000. So amazing. Thank you to everybody that donated. My family and friends that were there. I had a cousin that won the door prize. So that was super exciting. And I had lots of family that donated, family that came to the event, and lots of friends that were there. So it was amazing. So let's point my camera down, and I'm going to jump right in this morning and show you this technique. So camera going down. Okay, so I want to find myself in my feed. Hopefully I popped up for myself. Let me see if I can get to my page. Whew, I'm tired today. Okay, here I am. So again, I'm using Christmas Season and Christmas to Remember for my stamps. So I'm just going to get these out of the way and jump right in. So actually, I'm going to do the photopolymer stamping first. There's a bunch of stamping and die cutting. So what I did is I stamped some and die cut them out just to save time on the video this morning. So let's do the photopolymer first. I brought over my Pierce mat, and we're going to start with tone on tone stamping. So when I say tone on tone, I am going to be using real red cardstock, and I'm going to stamp in real red ink. And then I'm going to use shaded spruce cardstock, and I'm going to stamp in shaded spruce ink. Okay, so hopefully you're with me there. I'll start with the berries. And it's so funny, there's 4 berries, so I even thought about cutting one off because I'm like, shouldn't it be 3? And it's funny, when you stamp this, it actually looks darker, but to me, it looks darker. And then let's do the shaded spruce. This is one you could probably mass produce, but the technique I'm going to show you with the embossing folder, you have to clean the embossing folder every time. So it is 10/30/2022, so hopefully you already started working on your Christmas cards. But if you haven't, there's still plenty of time. So there's like a month. A lot of people send theirs out around Thanksgiving, which happens to be my birthday this year on Thanksgiving Day. So lucky me, birthday on a major holiday. But anyways, I'm going to do the sentiment, which I picked 'tis the season. And we're just going to do that in soft suede ink. So I kept it 3 ink pads for this card. Soft suede, real red, and shaded spruce. And this stamp, I didn't clean it in between my stamping earlier this morning, so it's been a little wonky. Hopefully, oh, actually that time it came out almost perfect. Well, pretty perfect, I should say perfect. Okay, so let's, I closed that up, but I want to reopen it. Let me show you the technique with the embossing folder. It is so amazing. So if you invest in embossing folders, you know, some of them can be like $10. So this just gives you another way to use them. You are going to take your embossing folder. I am using the Timber 3D. And you're going to take your ink pad. So in this case, I am using soft suede ink. For my cardstock, it's 3.5 by 4 3/4. But I'm going to give you all the measurements of all the little pieces below in the comments. So what I'm going to do is I'm doing crumb cake with the soft suede ink. So let me show you. We're going to open our ink pad. I actually have a paper towel nearby, and after I do this, I'm going to put my piece on a paper towel. So I am going to, the front of the embossing folder has the Stampin' Up! Logo at the bottom. So I am actually going to be using the front where the logo is to ink up. So I'm just going to open and make sure my logo is here. I'm going to kind of just smash my ink pad all over. And this is messy, so that's why I said I have a paper towel near me, next to me. Okay, so I'm not going to do the whole entire start to finish. You're going to drop your piece of crumb cake inside, close up, and then you're going to run this through your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Okay, so remember, when you're using your embossing folders, you want to do your spine into the machine first. So I did one earlier. I'm just going to move this out of the way so hopefully my fingers aren't too inky. Close up my ink pad so I don't have an oopsie. Get this stuff out of the way. So when it comes out from your cutting machine, it's going to look like this. So super cool. It almost looks like real wood. Getting that darker ink on the lighter color cardstock. You totally could do a tone on tone like I did with the stamping. You could do crumb cake on crumb cake or soft suede on soft suede. It's going to give you a different look. I kind of like for this look the lighter color cardstock with the darker ink. Okay, so let me show you where we're at now. I stamped these 3 pieces earlier. Let me move those so you can see them better. These 3, and I did a vellum label, so let me move back a little bit. The vellum label. So all of these I cut at the same time on my cut and emboss machine. So I'll just show you really quick. I did the label in vellum. I did with the coordinating dies. I did the holly leaves. They have a die that you can cut out. The berries have a die that coordinates. So, but you're able to run all these through. And then I did the 'Tis the Season, this little label. So, because they're all kind of smaller pieces, I was able, one crank, to get all these out. So, I'm going to keep the vellum piece there and show you what that looks like. Here's the little 'Tis the Season. Here's the holly leaves. When you stamp them, the holly leaves look like they're connected, but when you die cut, they come apart, okay? So there's a tip for there. And what we're going to do is we're going to build, and I have a piece of gold shimmer ribbon. We're going to build everything up on the label first, because with vellum, I like to build everything up, and then I know where to put my adhesive because all my pieces are on my label, right? So I have about a 3-inch piece of ribbon. Tip here is I cut while the piece is here flat. So I'm just going to cut a diagonal in one end. So it's more difficult for me to cut once this is already glued down to the card. So there's a tip for you. Okay, then I can kind of sort of figure out where I want to start. I think I'm going to start with the ribbon actually, and then kind of build stuff around it. So I'm going to put a couple glue dots. I'm going to have it hang off a little tiny bit. So just a couple glue dots, to like one about on each end. But I'm going to go a little bit higher than I did in my original sample. So once I get my ribbon on, I'm going to put my sentiment, and I'm going to put my sentiment up on mini Stampin' Dimensionals. So I have a piece stuck on here. I don't know what it's from. It's a star, but okay. So I didn't like how it was earlier, so I re-stamped this one. So you can see my boo-boo on the other side, but nobody will know, except for you guys watching this video. So I'm going to do 4 mini. I don't use minis that much because they're so tiny. And honestly, they're hard for me to pick up. And I have pretty tiny fingers, but okay, I think that'll do it. Okay, so let's get the little backings off. And I'm going to put the sentiment just above the ribbon. Okay, just like so. So because I have dimensionals on the sentiment now, I'm not going to put dimensionals on my label, my vellum label, because then I'd have to probably pay extra postage for this card. But if you were hand delivering it to somebody, you totally could put dimensionals on the back again. So there's another tip for you. And for my little holly leaves, I'm just going to have them hang off the edge too a little bit. So you have a couple choices. I'm just going to do a glue dot since I have them right here. And I'm going to try to go and cover part of the edge of the ribbon. And put one like there and stay. And do another one. My glue dots, I hope my glue dots are okay. It was a little bit cold. Well, it's been chilly at night, very chilly at night, but the days have been okay. And then I can kind of decide where I want my holly berries. If I want to just do 3, I could cut one off with my scissors. I'm just going to do a little bit of liquid glue on my holly berries. I could do glue dots too. I think they'll fit, but just a tiny bit of liquid glue works. Then I can kind of just cover up some of my seams a little bit. And if I want to jazz this up a little bit more, I could add some Wink of Stella to my little holly leaves. I didn't do that in my original sample, but you totally could add some Wink of Stella here to give them a kind of shiny, pretty, glittery berries. So hopefully you can see that a little bit pretty. Okay. And then I'm just ready to put the pieces of my card together. So I have my inked embossing folder that I'm just going to put to a piece of soft suede cardstock that's 3 3/4 by 5. And then I'm just going to go to a crumb cake card base. So hopefully you're all with me so far. But I just love how this looks like real wood. Okay. And my crumb cake card base, I'm going to actually just fold it the other way. You can give it a nice score with a bone folder. And put some liquid glue here. Everybody that was at the event yesterday that, you know, has a love-hate relationship with the liquid glue, just a little bit really goes a long way. So you see me, I do like the dot method, like 3 on each row, and you really don't need that much with the liquid glue. When I first learned, I'm probably a broken record, when I first learned it was just scratch it on, and that was definitely a good tip for when you're new to the liquid glue. And then all I have to do is put my little label on and add some of the gold festive pearls that I added to just give this a little bit more of a bling. You could do more. You could do like a layer of designer series paper. If you had designer series paper that had some gold in it or some shaded spruce or real red, you could add a strip, another strip or designer series paper. You could add some more like gold trim. And I just kind of put this down in the corner and then took some of my festive pearls, and I'm using the gold festive pearls here to add a couple to the little 'Tis the Season banner. So super, super simple. But again, if you're going to do this technique and mass produce it, obviously you're going to have this ink nearby, or like a wipe or something to clean the embossing folder every time. But it just gives you a different way to use your embossing folders. So here's the original card. My 'Tis the Season part was a little bit lower, and I think I like it a little bit higher as I did it on the sample. So that is my project for today, quick and simple. I still have to unpack a bunch of stuff from yesterday, but wanted to say happy Halloween. And tomorrow, 10/31/2022, is the last day to get the join special. So if you're watching this today or tomorrow, there is a special to join my team, the Sweet and Simple Stampers, and it's $155 in product, any $155 in product. And you pay $99 plus tax if you're in a taxable state. So don't miss out on that amazing deal. I will be available today and tomorrow, so if you have questions, let me know, and I'll be happy to answer them. So that's it for this week. I'm just going to bring the camera back up at my face so I can sign off. Oh, I couldn't see the comments. So, hey Bonnie, thanks for tuning in. Kathy, thanks for watching. Elaine, thanks for watching. Kathy, you love this. You're going to try it. Yeah, please post to my page or my community group if you're part of there. I'd love to see if you try it, which embossing folder you try, and do you make a Christmas card or a birthday card, or what how you're using this technique. I'd love to see. Or send me a private message if you don't want to post it out to the world. Have a great week. Happy Halloween, and I'll be back next week with a project at 10 a.m. on Sunday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern.